There we go. Now we can record. Recording, that's good. So to divide them, I need two things. I need to make sure first this number is a whole number. In this case, it is a whole number, so I don't have to touch it. And the other thing to remember, there is as many zeros as you want. So if you need to add zeros, you can add as many as you want. It does not change your number. They might come in handy down the road as we need them there. So the first thing that I do when I divide them is before I start anything, I move that decimal point up there. I go, let's put it up here, so I don't forget about it. What is 2 divided by 2? 1. 1 times 2? 2. Remainder is 0. Bring the 5 down. What's 5 divided by 2? 2. 2 times 2? 4. The remainder is 1. Bring that 0 down. That becomes a 10. 10 divided by 2? 5. 5 times 2? 10. Once the remainder is 0, you are done. So the answer to that is 1.25. It is really. It just what happens. A lot of you think it's actually worse than that. You try to make it worse, you know. But it really is not that. Just again, remember to make this number a whole number, and you have a lot of zeros if you need them. Like for example, if I try this one, I said, what is 0.006 divided by 0.02? Inside, outside, I don't know which one you call the inside, which one you call the outside, but the one you're dividing by, the 0.02 here, goes right here. And the 0.006 is right there. Now, as I said a few minutes ago, you want to make sure that this number is a whole number, not a decimal. So that's a decimal number. How do we make that number a whole number? Well, multiply or move the decimal point how many places? 2. If I move that decimal point 2 places to the right, that number turns to a whole number. Well, if you move the decimal point 2 places to the right, you got to move this decimal point how many places? 2 again. Has to be the same number. So that number becomes now 0.6 divided by what? By 2. Again, there's a lot of zeros if you need them. I'm going to move that decimal point up there before I forget about it. What is 6 divided by 2? 3. 3 times 2? 6. What's the remainder? Once your remainder is 0, you are done. So what's the answer here? 0.3. Let's try another one. Six divided by 0.0012. Again, you go to divide them, you go 6 divided by 0.0012. That's not good. This number is not a whole number. So I need to move it to the right. How many places? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to move the decimal point here 4 places. Well, there is no decimal. So it's actually, if there's no decimal, it's right there, Jamie. So let's move it, which is, you're correct. Let's move the decimal points. Well, how many places we said? 4 places. So that becomes how many zeros? 4 zeros. So it becomes 60,000 divided by 12. That's a comma, not a period here. 60,000. What's 60 divided by 12? 5. 5 times 12? 60. Remainder is 0. Bring this 0 down. What's 0 divided by 12? 0. Bring that 0 down. What's 0 divided by 12? 0. Bring that 0 down. What's 0 divided by 12? 0. So your answer is 5,000. Now, if I want to prove that, I can take my calculator out and do it and see if that's correct. 6 divided by 0.0012 equals 5,000. Let's try 40.2 divided by 0.7. Again, 40.2 divided by 0.7. What should we do first? Move the decimal point how many places? 1. So that becomes 402 divided by 7. Again, my decimal point is here. And if I need zeros, I don't know if I need them or not, I got a lot of them. Let me move that decimal point up there, just in case I need it. What's 40 divided by 7? 5. 5 times 7? 35. The remainder is 5. Bring that 2 down. Is it 7? 7 times 7? 49. The difference is what? 3. Bring that 0 down. 30 divided by 7. About 4. 4 times 7? 28. Bring that 0 down. 20 divided by 7. 2. 2 times 7? 14. The remainder is what? 6. 60 divided by 7. 8. 8 times 7? 56. You will notice that this number doesn't terminate, doesn't end. It keeps going on and on and on. So you can say approximately. They probably tell you for this, round your answer nearest tenth or nearest hundredth. If they say to nearest hundredth, you can say approximately 57 point what? 43, yes. Not 42, 43. Nearest hundredth, that means 2 decimal, because this doesn't end. So they could never give you this on the test and leave it open like this, because any answer you put is going to be the wrong answer. Unless they said round your answer to nearest tenth or nearest hundredth, then you can get the correct answer. Because it doesn't terminate. Some of them do terminate. So like this one, the question will look something like this if they're going to give you that question. Or something like, I'll give you one similar to it. Find the quotient of 8.07 and 0.11. And I will have to say round to the nearest. What do you want to do? 100th, 10th? 10th, okay. Because I know if you divide this, it's not going to end. Dividing by 11 the same as dividing by 7. It never ends almost. It keeps going on and on and on. Those numbers are not good numbers to divide. So here we go. 8.07 divided by 0.11. I need to move the decimal point 2 places to make it a whole number. 2 places to make it a whole number. So this becomes 807 point, and there's lots of zeros if I need them. Divide by 11. Bring that number up there. 80 by 11. 7. 7 times 11, 77. 37 divided by 11. 3. 3 times 11, 33. 40 by 11. 3. 3 times 11, 33. 70 by 11. 6. 6 times 11, 66. The remainder is what? 4. I don't have to continue. Why? Because I need to round this. You said nearest 10th. So there's my answer. 73.36 and other numbers. I don't care about the other numbers. But if I'm rounding to nearest 10th, this is the 10th location right there. I only have to look at this number. I don't care what the rest of the numbers are. Is that number 5 or more?
Yeah.
We add 1 to this. So that's why I don't want to continue going. So that's 73 point what? 4. I could care less if this number is 7, 4, 2, 9, 1, 8, 3, 2, 7, whatever. It doesn't make a difference to me. That's the only thing that matters. Now, I don't know if you remember from last class. I'll give you a shortcut too. I'm going to just give you a little quick review. Last class, we did multiplications. And we said when you multiply like 2.436 and you multiply that by 10, or 2.436 and you multiply that by 100, you need, we said, move the decimal point which direction here? When you multiply? To the right. How many places? This one, how many places? And this one? Y1 and Y2, how many zeros? You got 1 0, you move it 1 place. That becomes what? 24.36. Because there's only 1 0. 2 zeros, you got to move it how many places? 2 places. So what about dividing then? Yes. 2.436. You want to divide that by 10. Or 2.436. You want to divide that by 100. These are shortcuts. I didn't see them in the book. You can move the decimal point to the left now instead of to the right. How many zeros you got here? 1. You move the decimal point 1 place to the left. It becomes 0.2436. This one, how many zeros you got there? 2. You move the decimal point to the left how many places? 2. That's 0.0436. That's the shortcut. Now, what people say to me a lot of times, like, how am I supposed to remember which direction to move them? Right, left, which one? Well, I try to think actually of a way, and the only thing I can come up with, and that's me, I said, let's write the alphabets. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and continue. Who cares about the rest? I'm only interested in 2 letters. M for multiplications and D for divisions. Can you see them? M, where is the M? Left or the right? On the right. When you multiply, you go to the right. D for division. You go left or right if you had M, so you go to the left. So that's one way for me to remember that. If it makes sense, fine. If it doesn't, find other way for you to remember that. But I look at M and D, D on the left, M on the right. When I'm multiplying, go to the right. When I divide, I go to the left. That's how, one way to remember them. But that's a shortcut when you're dividing, so you don't have to go and do it the long way. Just move the decimal point 2 places. You can do it the long way, you're just wasting your time. And just like every section we did this semester, the book estimation is a big topic for us. I'm not sure why they keep harping on it, because they love it so much. But estimating. That means you gotta round the number first. If I said, well, can you estimate 3.36 divided by 0.021? Now, if I'm looking to estimate what I might do for this one, I go, you know what? I don't need the exact answer. Just a rough neighborhood. I'll look at this. That's what? 3.4 divided by what? 0.02. So 3.4 divided by 0.02. This is not good. Move it 2 places. Move it 2 places. That becomes what? 340 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2, 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2, 7. 7 times 2, 14. Bring the 0 down. 0 divided by 2, 0. So my estimation is 170. Now, if I do the exact math, am I that far from it really? Let's see. 3.36 divided by 0.021. 160. I'm just looking for a neighborhood answer. So estimation here says I'm 170 instead of 160. So when you try to estimate, make sure you round the number first, then you do the math. The other thing you might see him do, and I know you don't like fractions, I keep bringing them because everyone hated them in chapter 2, bless you. If you have a number like this, and I want to change that to a decimal number, divide them. Now we know what that number is. We can change it to what? 16 times 2, yes, improper fraction. 16 times 2, which is what? 32 and 1? 33 over 16. So let's divide 33 by 16. If they want a decimal number, again, remember there's a decimal point here and a lot of zeros if you need them. Now that'll be a 2. 2 times 16, which is what? 32. Remainder is 1. Bring that 10 down. 10 by 16, you can't. That's a 0. Bring another 0 down. 100 by 16. 100 divided by 16. 6 and some change. How about 6? 6 times 6, 36. 6 times 1 is 6, and 3, 9. 96. Bring the 40 down. 40 by 16. 2. 2 times 16, 32. 8. 80. 80 by 16. Is it 5? 5 times 6, 30. 0 carry 3. That's an 80. Yep. I did this on purpose the long way. Do you notice that this number is the same? See it? So instead of changing that to improper fraction, some people are saying, wait a minute. Why even do all this? If you want 2 and 1 16, just divide 1 by 16. Here's your decimal point. 1 divided by 16, you can't. How about 10 by 16? Can't. How about 100 by 16? 6. 6 times 16 is 96. What's the remainder? 4. 40 by 16. 2. 2 times 16 is what? 32. What's the remainder? 8. 80 by 16. 5. 5 times 16, 80. So this little piece here is 0.0625. And what about that 2 in the front? Just put it right here. It's 2 plus that piece. So it's 2.0625. You can do it the long way, change it to improper fraction, divide them, or just divide this and keep that number in the front. That's much quicker. Like if I have 3 and 1/4. I go, what's 1 divided by 4? Here's my decimal point. Add a lot of zeros if you need them. Bring that decimal point up. You can't divide the 1 by 4. How about 10 by 4? 2. 2 times 4? 8. 20 by 4? 5. 5 times 4? 20. Remainder 0. You're done. Your answer is going to be 0.25. That's for the 1/4. What about the 3? Just put it in the front. 3.25. And that's the end of dividing decimal numbers. I mean, I can do more examples, but that's really the whole thing about dividing.